All right, guys, I'm going to kick off our June West Coast call. Thank you all for being on here. Got a lot of familiar faces and happy to see you guys all hopping in and chatting. This will be definitely very interactive. I chatted with Zia a little bit earlier about this, I think last week, and we've been talking about it ongoing, that this would just be a really great topic to bring up. And I'm sure we'll revisit it again, but really hitting in on generating more leads and quality leads. How do you do it? How do you improve it if it's a weakness for you? What are you doing that maybe could be deterring that? Or what are some things being left on the table? And then what about the next step? So you got the lead, but what is the sales process? Is there a process? Is it more of unguided? Is it you solely on your shoulders? How do you break that up? And then possibly, if we can get to it as well, would be now I've got them, but how am I onboarding them for success? And I know that starts to turn a lot into retention, but more so just that really beginning part of that onboarding. Are there some cool little tips or tricks that you use maybe right at the tail end of the sales process that you know that that's going to hook them or keep them going? And I think the really fun part is when there's differences between one gym and the next, because someone listening that is looking to freshen things up, maybe they're not on this call, maybe they're listening to it recorded, they get to hear more than one perspective. I did have those three, I'm grouping them together in one call because I did have it as a request from an owner. It's actually a few months back. I think it was around the open, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to kick it down the line because we've got some stuff to talk about between now and then. But yeah, an owner on the West Coast requested just basically picking all of your brains. He wants to hear what are other people doing to get more leads? What are other people doing in that sales process that maybe I could improve upon, and and then onboarding. And that is from a perspective of an owner who is already doing well, but wants to really take it a step further. So if anyone is kind of coming at from that perspective, like I had leads, but then when I did this, it really, went through the roof or something like that. So if we just sort of start on the lead piece and what's working, what isn't, I'm gonna kick to Zia first, and then anyone that wants to come off mute or raise a hand or whatever, I'd love to hear your guys' perspectives on that.
For me, I mean, it depends on the program. I have a couple different programs, and so for like our general program, my best source of leads for especially the new gym is Instagram for sure. We did just do a Bring a Friend week, and we got 27 friends, and we converted 19 of them. So that was a really big that was probably our biggest Bring a Friend week that we've ever done. And that was strictly Oceanside. I think Encinitas had like seven friends and we converted five of them. But like Oceanside like killed it on the Bring a Friend week. We don't do them very often. So when they come around, people like really try to take advantage of them, which is kind of cool. But I do paid ads at both locations, and that is definitely my big driver for most of my leads.
And that's on Instagram, you said.
Instagram and Facebook. And then for my master's class, I do an ad in the newspaper,
Right.
which is very successful for the 16 up crowd.
I love that. Shape it like a coupon or something.
I mean, they read the newspaper, they read every single page of it, and they bring it in with them and they call for the address. Like they're very not tech savvy. So that ad in the newspaper cost me $150 a month and it pays for itself.
Time and time again.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know several of you, I think, do bring a friends regularly, whether that's once or twice a year, but still like it's something you've done many times over. Um, Anyone ever done a bring a friend and it kind of falls flat and then that's like now it's like I don't want to do it anymore? Or is it more of like, no, I just sort of realized that that's part of the game, and some of them hit and some of them don't?
I feel like the longer you've been open, or like, so my gym in Encinitas has been open for 17 years. I don't get as much out of that. Look, like, I don't get a lot out of the bring a friend. They've brought their friends, they're here, right? Just the new people will bring a friend. Oceanside's been open for almost 4 months. they all had friends that they could bring
Yeah.
in, right? So like my bring of friends in Oceanside will probably be very successful for the next couple of years. But as far as Encinitas, it
It's going to be smaller.
it's not this huge influx of members that it is in like
And
for a new, it's only your new people. Your older people, they've already brought their friends. They're here.
can't rely on people to keep getting new friends. It just doesn't
It's
happen.
hard to make friends
We're
as
grown
an
up.
adult. Yeah.
Randy, Chauncey, what do you guys have?
I was gonna say we do our Bring a Friend weeks pretty regularly, twice a year, and it really it's not that there's no rhyme or reason as to why we think there's one is more successful than the other, but I mean we all go through the same thing that runs it. Yeah, all my friends are here already. I don't have any other friends. Well, bring your enemies, bring your family, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just bring somebody. But I think the one time it really fell flat for us, conversion wise, was when we gamified it. And I'm going to say this, and Mitch is going to be like, "Shut up, dude! You're an idiot. It worked great for me." But it's like when we gamified it, all the leads or the friends that came in were cold leads. They weren't strong leads. They were just people that wanted to win the prize for the 5:30 a.m. class. So they just brought literally like grabbed someone from the grocery store and brought them in. It's the ones that are more, we find that it's the leads or the friends or family members that are more intentional.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm bringing my brother. My brother needs this. He's had cancer, blah, blah, blah. Not to blah, blah cancer, but he needs it a lot. And those turn into conversions more regularly than when we had gamified it in the past. So that's just our perspective.
That's an
Oh, sorry.
excellent, like, that makes sense.
Mhm. Mitch, do you want to argue
One
with
does
him?
way better than our January one
Oh, okay.
every single time.
I'm definitely not going to argue because it's worked for a
Good.
little bit, but I will say I think it really just comes down to like really how you're portraying it to your members and the public. So we changed it up and called it Fitness for Free Week instead of Bring a Friend Week, just because we've done so many Bring a Friend Weeks. Um, and it was easier to advertise, not so much to just the friends, but again, because we've been like, I'm at a really like low point as far as members go. But we've had a lot of, I mean, like majority of my members have been with me for, I would say 75% of my members have been here for 5 years or more. So like getting the new members in the door has been definitely difficult. But the two things that really helped it is number one, I hired a younger person to take over my social media. So she's much more relevant. But also like we put it out to community Facebook pages and whatever. So you didn't have to be a friend of the gym. Um, and the last one we ran, again, I think we only had like 19 people come in. But I signed up 6 people, right? So it's still pretty good percentages as far as like getting new members. And out of those 6, only one of them was actually a friend of someone that was in the gym. The 5 that came in were legitimately just saw the ad, not even ad. We didn't even run ads. We just basically just threw it out to the masses. So
Yeah.
it really comes down to, in my opinion, it just comes down to how you're portraying it to your members and or just the public. And like Zia said, like Instagram is like the hot topic for us. Like this week alone, I've had like 2 people contact us and be like, I've been following you for, years. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I just want to like get more information. So I think it's just, it's definitely a piece of it. And I don't personally, there's not like a one thing that sticks out other than just being relevant with what we're doing.
Very cool. When it comes to the ads, are you guys using specific services or are you kind of doing that on your own? And I mean, maybe having help with making the ad itself, but are you paying a subscription service or are you kind of managing it more on your own end?
We manage it on our own. I use Lasso. Worst fucking money I ever spent in my life.
Okay, good to know. I just had a new owner reach out to me and they were like, I want to know who's doing at new as in he's about 1 year of affiliation. I want to know who's using which services, what do they think, what do they like, who's not using services, and how do I, you know, get started on that. So that thank you for that feedback. Does anyone have anything additional? We don't use paid ads. Okay, got it. Some
I do
everybody
use paid ads. I do use Lasso, but I micromanage them like crazy. I've also, everything's negotiable, so don't pay what they obviously try to make you pay. I like Lasso because it integrates perfectly with push press. but I don't like how much I have to micromanage them. I'll tell them specifically not to do something and I'll turn around and see it. Or like, hey, you spelled my town wrong. Or, so I'm not like overly happy with them, but I don't have the bandwidth to do it myself or find somebody else at the moment. But would I necessarily jump in and tell somebody else to do it? Probably not. Unless they were really good at negotiating down their fees. And I'm talking like half.
Nice. Does anyone use anything different? Otherwise, I'd like to hear more about managing it on your own.
Same.
Mitch, I did it at the wrong time. Got it. Yeah, if you're just kind of hoping you just push play with it, I guess it doesn't sound like the right option. You've got to be able to be very involved with it.
Oh,
One
wow.
order in 4 months is not helpful. Yikes.
I'm still getting like relative to my size. I think I got like 22 members last month directly from their lead funnels. So like they're good, but like I said, like you really have to micromanage them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think part of it too is just I mean, it's all relative marketing, but also just like where you're at. I mean, again, like we're like I know like Ren from Flixer, like she did really great with them for, for a while and whatever else, and that's kind of why I went with them. But just like where we were at, and they just like I didn't have the time to manage them and be like, I mean, again, same thing, like they put the wrong city in or that like it was spelled wrong, and I'm just like, that's not helpful. Like we're a small town, and there's two other CrossFit gyms in the area, so it's like if we're not hitting that market like dead on, like it's not going to.
Speaking of Ren, she's adding in right now.
That's who referred me to Lasso.
When it comes to like managing on your own, Mitch, and if anyone else is also doing their own kind of ads and rolling it, are you rolling with just one or you have a couple of different ones at once that you're kind of rotating between?
I typically run two, and whatever one hits the best in the first week, then I'll run with just that one. And I don't spend a lot. I literally like, and it's hit and miss. Like I could probably be more consistent with it. Like right now we're not running any paid ads or anything. We haven't for the last like 3 months. Um, but for me, what's been most beneficial is like just to throw two out there, see which
Yeah.
one to run with that.
Nice. Yeah, Cole, were you gonna add something?
Yeah. We have like 5 different variations of um, basically the same ad. It's just like different ad copy, different creative, and kind of to piggyback off of like services versus doing like running something on your own. I forgot where I read it, but someone was like, at the level that we are as far as like businesses and running ads, if you just spent what you would spend to hire the agency on more ads, even if your ads were terrible, you'd probably get more leads than paying the agency to try to do it for you. So like $300 in ads and $300 to have the agency. If you just spent $600 total on ads, even if your ads were terrible, you're going to do better than if you were having the agency. And that kind of like struck me because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Well, even if I spend $600 and have terrible ads, they're probably going to work better than mediocre ads that I spend way less money on.
With
So,
typos. I think that's probably
yeah.
why Thea was like, I'm only doing it because I'm negotiating it way down.
I negotiated way down and I spend 2,500 a month in ads. So I don't want to mess up $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it's a good point. Don't take anything at the first price you're told, that's for sure. Anyone want to talk about leads where they're like, I don't know where to start. I'm at starting point, or I've been doing it and I feel like I'm wasting my money. I want some direction, or I do pay for a service, but I want to stop doing that. I want someone to tell me like that kick I need to get me off of that. Were you guys over talking about leads?
I keep hearing this voice in my head that from Randy of like, when are you going to move over to best hour?
We all hear Randy saying that.
And yes, I would like to. I'm not
Would that be your ad spend would switch over to going to best hour instead?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that a lot of the companies are, still having you want to do the work. Like you have to do the work. We just don't have time for it. Can you just do it for us? And then you screw it up. So like I don't, like I don't want either. I don't want the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to pay somebody to, I don't want to think about it. And if they do well, I won't negotiate them down, but I don't want to think about it.
Is this the kind of thing that it would ever be like you wouldn't pay a company to do it, but you would pay an employee who's really good at this, not just to be your media person, but like to literally manage the ads because
I would do that.
that
I
feels
would
like
do that in a
a
second
better way
because
to
that's fostering
like, how do
somebody
you
within
find
your
that person, right?
community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That would be the money well spent. They're not gonna have the typos, like less likely. They're
I
gonna
just
come
hired a
out.
coach that's really good at social media. I might see how he can do with ads.
Yeah.
I just hired him last week, so we'll have to see. But
Teach someone how to do that the same way you would teach
yeah,
your sales processing and stuff like that. Get off your ass and make it work. There you go.
Great.
There's the little kick you needed, Josh.
Thank you.
Great. Oh, well, if you guys don't want to keep beating that dead horse, we can move on to talking about the next process. So you're getting leads in. What about sales? I think sometimes talking with veteran owners, longtime owners, sometimes that's they don't like saying that, they don't like talking about that. Not saying that's this group, but or it's a little bit disorganized. They're like, I just talked to them afterward, and they're either into it or they're not. And there's not exactly a playbook to it. There's not exactly something that you could leave for 3 weeks and hand it over to others. Is this a position that do you have paid people to do this? Do you train multiple staff members on how to handle it post, introductory session or whatever you do for your once we've got the lead in the door, whether it's your, tour of the gym or a little mini session, is it get handed over to you? Do you have a way of getting that off your plate? Do you want help with that? Where are we at with those kinds of things? You want to take it, Randy?
Yeah, I feel like this is one of our biggest pain points is not sales. It's not the act of selling, but it's us being the one, let me rephrase that, Chos being the one that does all of it. Um, and she's a juggernaut. I've said this multiple times. Kate, if you came into the gym, she would sell you a membership and you would buy it
I would.
freely.
I don't live there and I would.
It doesn't matter, you'd still buy it.
You could sell it over the Zoom call probably.
But it's not that she's not good at it. It's not that she doesn't know what to do. She does. It's that she is the only one that can sell with the amount of passion that requires people to sign on the dotted line right then and there. She's also the only one that knows that having that free class, that we don't advertise a free class, but she knows that she has it in her back pocket. And when she pulls that out, if someone's iffy, she knows that we have an 80% conversion rate when she pulls that out. She knows that we have a 30% or our conversion rate goes down 30% if she doesn't pull that out. And so other people, we could teach them how to do it, but how do you teach the passion and how do you teach this is the driver of our business.
Yeah.
It's yes, a great 60-minute class. It's knowledgeable coaches. It's a great community, but we can't grow that if we don't nail the sale. Oh, there's a shirt for you.
That was great. It
Nail the
also feels
sale.
like the way you're describing it, and I think others would agree with this, it's so much less about having the roadmap, the script, the playbook, and so much more about like intuition. And Chelsea's like reading the room and feeling, and you're like teaching that could take years. Like you said, the passion, whatever, maybe you meet that really sparky person that you think you could turn into a Chelsea 2.0 or Chelsea 1A,
Yeah.
but then now we need them to be able to read, where is this going? Is now the time to pull out that free class? Is that where she's got so many hours, years under her belt of reading that, right? That's a whole nother thing to have to teach.
I don't even know how to teach that.
Exactly. I was like,
well,
teach
it's
that out of
it's
you, girl.
hard, right? It's your business. You know
Yeah.
it, you feel it, you live it. You're so much more invested. Honestly, you can't teach it, I don't think. But what you can do is find people who have it. Because I have admins at each location, and I've had admins that are really good at being admins, but they don't have that sales lead conversion, that passion, that ability to pull out of somebody, why are you here? So you're here because you need to lose weight, pulling that information, regurgitating it back to them, like this is what we can do. Like that's a skill. And not everybody has that. And finding those people. And then I do have like a big like SOP lead conversion like packet. I hired somebody, so it's here today in front of me. But like I do have a very like purpose, core flow, getting settled in, like all the steps breaking down from lead acquisition to joining on how like pointers on how they should behave. But you got to find that right person or you will be doing tours forever. And that like what's been kind of a game changer for me, not being able to be at Oceanside, but finding an admin up there that I know is going to be just as passionate and like he's so good at pulling out why they're joining, how we can solve the problem, not focusing on community because that's just a bonus. That's not why they're here, but finding why they're truly there and then like selling them on that without a tour. So, and then having the tour in your back pocket, yes, but I don't generally give tours at my gym. It's a mess. I haven't been able to figure that out.
And then you have two that help you with Encinitas. Is one
I
at
have I have an admin at Encinitas and then I have an admin at Oceanside and they're both phenomenal. Like their close rates are great. They are both. It took me a long time to find them. Um, but I've had admins that like do the job of an admin, but their tour close rate was terrible. But right now, you find the ones that are just they're people pleasers. They're amazing humans, and they just have that want and love for your facilities close to as much as you do.
Did they start off with that high conversion rate or
No, they had to learn,
yeah.
right? But they had what it like you could tell they had what it took to convince them, the way they talk with new people, the way they make them feel easy when they walk in the door, which is probably why she's so successful, right? Because it's about, the conversation leading up to not like, here's my gym, here's the prices. It's about like, oh, why are you here? Personalizing the conversation, really attaching to them why they need to be here, how we can solve their problem, whatever it may be. And not scheduling a tour during the busiest class of the day or during comp class. Like that's terrifying. Nobody wants to see that. They barely walked in the door. The last thing they want to see is 30 people doing snatches at the end of the WOD. Like just having that sense to like time those kind of things properly. We try to do our tours when there's nobody in a gym.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, I definitely have like I have an SOP and I have like all of that stuff, but I would say that rarely do I even follow that exactly.
Well,
Like
you don't need to,
yeah,
no.
and I think and that's the where I'm trying to like figure out like how do I teach the person to like here's this. I guess that's where they would start. And then maybe be
Yeah.
It's a
able to
skeleton.
fill out of that.
It's a
So
skeleton. And then now you got to feel it, right? And
yeah.
like you said, Zia, you got to find that person that's got the passion, got the spark and the
Yeah.
care, right? They care
Like
but as much
even,
about
yeah,
their
my
facility.
steps aren't like do this, and this. It's like focus on this, greeting them by name, thanking them for coming in, avoid doing this, avoid jumping directly into price. Like, so it's not like it's a bullet point on what to say and do. It's like at this point, focus on this, avoid doing this, just to kind of like and then they're not like a cookie cutter, right? They're their own person. They're doing what why we hired them, right? But it's
Totally.
almost a different, it's definitely a different skill than coaching, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. It's awesome if they do both, but that ability. And then I took, so did Kelly. Kelly took it with me. Daniel Chappie's sales course. Oh my gosh, was that amazing? If I could, I wish he would do another one in the United States. That was awesome. It was
Yeah.
very intense, and you obviously aren't going to pick everything out of it because it's a lot, but like little tidbits of things that like the sales process and stuff, that was amazing. If anyone ever sees that come up, or if there's an online course, or if it's in town, I just clear your schedule. That sales course is phenomenal.
That's really good to know. Ren, did you want to add something? I saw your hand was up earlier. I'm sorry I didn't get to you fast enough.
Oh, that's good. I think like Zia probably like got it. I was gonna say like one of the things like she said, like, basically you need someone who cares. I think it's really important to, because you have to read the human first that comes in, but tug on their heartstrings a little bit, like dig deep. So I'm really big on, like, why do you want to look at, like, why is the losing weight important to you, right? Is it like you have a health condition that's preventing you from doing something? Or is it like you were a kid who was made fun of when you were younger? Like, what is the reason? And I try to dig into that a little bit so that I can associate, like, hey, we can help you fix that, whatever that problem is. So I think that helps a lot too.
Yeah, getting to zero in on that. That's really good.
We got something to add as well. I think I had a baby girl about a year ago, and I was in your same place where I would do all of the intros. And part of it was like I loved doing the intros. Like I would crush any sale and I loved doing it. Until it's like you have to make choices with where your time is, and can your time be better spent in other places. And I had to get over myself of like, can somebody else sell as good as me? And they're not going to be able to sell as good. And the answer is no. Like Zia kind of said, it's like your gym, it's your community. You've built everything. You know exactly what to say and how to say it. Even if you had the SOPs, you would still do better than somebody else with the SOP that you wrote for them. But can they do 80% as good as you? And the answer is probably yes. And if that allows you to do something else that is more valuable for the business. And like at first, I think I also struggled with, no, I can't, because I need every single one of these conversions. Like I need every possible person that can sign up. I need them all to sign up. So I gave no one else an opportunity to perform at 80% of what I could do, and then teach them how to be better. Like, hey, that person didn't sign up. What went wrong, and how can you now learn? Because I had lots of those. I've had hundreds and hundreds of no signups, obviously. And if I'm trying to get somebody else to do it and they've done 5, of course they're not going to have the same success. But being okay with that and saying, okay, I know I'm in it for the long haul. This person's got some of those good characteristics. If the person, like, you can tell if somebody likes to sell, and it doesn't feel like selling when we're in CrossFit, it feels like helping. But even at that point, you have people that are very clearly like, nope, I don't want to do that. And you're like, okay, you are not the right person for this. But letting them fail a little bit, and then teaching and guiding them and teaching them and guiding them, and being okay with them not performing as good as you would. And they probably will never, like, you've had years and years and years and years and years experience. They're probably not going to catch up to you, because it's not like you're not going to do another one and they're going to do hundreds and hundreds without you. So the other option to that is you hire a professional salesperson who's been doing it for 30 years, and they just also happen to be doing CrossFit, which is probably not likely, and they probably want way more money than you're able to pay. So I've done it, and it's been really good. We now have 4 part-time coaches that I've trained to do intro sessions, and intro sessions pop up on our calendar all the time. And I meet new members that I've never met before, which is a very strange thing. Yeah.
So it is working.
Yes.
Good.
And
Do
I
you
meet,
go back and revisit, do you meet with them regularly and kind of refine their process? Or because there's an element of I've got to help them, and then there's like I'm micromanaging, I'm over their shoulder. They don't think I trust them to do the job. It's tricky, right?
yes, I usually follow up with all of them post intro and say, hey, how did it go? What went well? What didn't go well? Most of the time, they like that feedback. I have never gotten the feeling from them that they're like, that they feel like I'm scrutinizing or judging how they did their intro session.
Yeah.
And it's just like a check-in. Hey, how did it go? What went well? What didn't go well? Probably shouldn't have said this, but they still signed up. Or, they talked about this and they told me that, they really needed to think about it and they were going to get in touch with me in 2 weeks. Okay, well, let's have some talks about how to handle some of that stuff.
So these are
like,
coaches
oh, I never,
given that
yeah.
So then are
Yeah.
they getting a separate commission for people that they sign? Do you give them a separate pay structure regardless of if they
Yep.
sign a certain amount, or how do you do that?
Yeah, there's an hourly and a commission.
Okay. So
And
they
so they
get
get
paid
paid
each session, but then they get a commission
a
on.
commission on top of it. Yeah. And it used to be fully on a commission,
Mhm.
but we have like different tiers for our onboarding. It could be a less expensive or a more expensive onboarding.
Mhm.
And it was not a great incentive to just pay more for the bigger package because not everybody needs the bigger package. And I wanted our coaches doing what was right for the person and not just saying, well, I make more money if I sell a bigger package. And if the person didn't need the bigger package, I didn't want the coach pushing a bigger package. So we switched to like a base pay no matter what, plus a bit of a commission that feels like a bit of a bonus, but still making it clear that you need to do what's right for the person and not what you're just getting the most money for.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's been a 2 year dilemma that was forced on my hand because of having a kid. And
Blessing in
so
disguise.
for sure, I probably would still be dealing with it if
Yeah,
that's not the case.
Yeah, that's great.
yeah. And I mean, I'm sure it's like I can try this, but then I'm always the safety net if it's not working, if the numbers aren't working, if we're losing our conversion rate in a really bad way, then I'm gonna step in and fix it and then try a different approach or hire someone different for the job. It's got to be really tough to keep balancing that. Any other questions or things you guys want to poke at with sales and the good, the bad, the ugly with that? Everyone's favorite topic. Uh,
I'd be curious to know if anybody feels like they have a crushing offer. Like this is what I sell right off the bat, and I think that this is an amazing offer.
doesn't matter who says it, it just does well because
Yeah.
of
You mean
Awesome.
like joint, like sign up offer? You mean?
Yeah.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
CrossFit. Nice.
I don't ever discount or do offer. Like I do not discount my product ever. Bring a friend week is
Oh,
the only
an offer
time.
doesn't mean a
Yeah,
discount. An
like I
offer just
don't.
means this is what it is.
And it includes this, and you're just saying
Yeah.
like how it's presented.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys do anything that's like besides like a posted unlimited rate? Like you do this many intro, or you get a singular private session with this, and that because of that combination, they feel like they're being taken care of, but they're also getting brought into the class. Like, what are the different offers that you guys do that win the most? And by offer, it doesn't mean sale. Like, what's the combo? Is it just straight into group classes, unlimited, or is it group classes but X amount of days a week? Like, what do you guys do?
We go straight into group class. We don't do onboarding. So I mean, we basically have two membership options, unlimited plus open gym access or um, eight ti-
Unlimited, yeah.
8 times every 4 weeks. And so we
Mm.
just, that's the offer. CrossFit, group class, instant friends, instant community. That's what we sell. And
And do
so
either of those have a better or the other, or is it really just depends on the person?
it
Like,
truly
and the
depends on the
potential.
person
Yeah.
and their availability. And
And yeah. And then when I'm talking to them and going through it, you'll have a feel with them. And if I can tell that they're a little bit nervous with that, then I have like an offer of like a personal training or a couple trip personal training options
Mm.
before going into that, depending on our conversation, how it went and talking with them. So we do have that, but that's not it just kind of depends on the
Not
person.
presented.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
We do
Colby,
an
what do you,
elements
go ahead.
classes. We do
Elements.
just 4 elements. If they've never CrossFit before, we'll do like 4 foundations classes. We have 2 membership options. We have $500 a month. And that's going to include, because we do the medical society, so we do biannual blood panel, biannual meeting with Dr. McCoy, biannual VO2 max testing, RMR testing, monthly IV or vitamin injections with an unlimited membership. And then we have 225 a month or
Hmm.
unlimited membership.
Have you found that that's a pretty pretty good offer? Do you feel like there's a decent amount of people that choose to do the blood panels and all the other work with memberships?
So I would say yes, with the caveat of I'm in San Diego, where specifically I'm in Encinitas, where people here, I don't live in Encinitas, but people who live in Encinitas have so much money. So like for them, it's like, oh, $500 and I get all of this done. Like that's an easy upsell for me. And then if they're coming in for any other reason, like my, I'm trying to get off my blood pressure medication, or I don't want to be a diabetic anymore, or I'm an athlete. Like we have a kid right now, he's at UCSD is on the surf team and he's trying to get stronger. So he signed up for the 500 so that he could get the blood panel that CrossFit offers is insane in what it offers. So it really can target the athlete, and then to
Yeah.
have the medical director say, this is what you need to do based on your goals. And then we have an in-house RN that can, consult on the blood panel and then give IVs and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Hmm.
So if you're in an area with people with a lot of disposable income, it is a really cool option. We do very well with it. We also sell them a la carte and make money off of all that too. So sometimes people will start with just the regular membership and then they'll get the VO2 max and then they'll get the blood, and then all of a sudden they're upgrading their membership because it's a pretty good deal. And then it makes the 225 not look so bad either, because you got the $500 membership next to the 225 and they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to go with the inexpensive one. So
The
it's kind of
Yeah.
discount.
like
Price anchor.
yeah, a double whammy.
What do
Then
you charge on your 4 sets of elements?
If they do the elements classes and they're paying for membership, they are included in the first month
Included.
membership.
Got it. We do between 6 and 12 foundations or elements classes, depending on what somebody needs. And that includes teaching sessions, shadow sessions, and follow-up sessions. A shadow session is where you have a second coach with them in class that's just dedicated to them. They do typically 2 of those before they go on their own in a class. Then a follow-up is done a month after they get to be in their set of classes. And that's basically just like a forced, hey, how many times did you come in last month? What stuff did you do in class and feel like you sucked at? And do you want to have any other discussions about nutrition, more personal training, other things? That is like part of paying for coming into class. And those are all at $100 a session. So it's $600, $800, or $1,200 to come in to class from there. And then our rolling into group class membership is either 12 times a month at $189 or unlimited at $220 or $219. $30 difference between the two. And after paying that $600, $800 or $1,200, that 180 to or 190 to 210, it feels like a very feasible thing as well.
Where are you located?
Oxnard, Ventura. So I'm just on the other side of LA from you.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is we're definitely not LA like demographic. That there's way more population density and a lot more disposable income. Even like the north end of Ventura or the north end of LA County with like Thousand Oaks has a lot more disposable income than us. But when you can create some really good value, people are like, oh, I'm gonna spend on it. Even we have like some food partnerships that people pay a lot. I'm like, where do you like? I know you're not making a lot of money, but where are you coming up with this money? But it's not on me to decide what you should spend your money on.
Well, and that's just it, right? People spend $10 on a matcha.
Yeah.
Like, just because they don't make a ton of money doesn't mean they're not going to spend it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Ren, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, well, I was gonna tell you about like what we do, but people will
Yeah.
always spend money. Like, I sold a $1,300 a month package here for a while, and I had several people on it to the point where I didn't have the staff to handle it anymore. But it was a personal training package. Basically, they get a free CrossFit membership if they're doing personal training 3 times a week. They paid it recurring $1,300. But what we do for CrossFit, we do have a foundations, but it's very different. We played with a lot of different things, and it's going to be completely different than what you do. Maybe more in line with Zia, but we do charge more. So it's $299. I try to make it really low barrier to entry. But it includes 4 weeks of classes, and then dependent upon the person's skill level, is when they get those one-on-one sessions. And so if it's someone who's new to CrossFit, then we front load those and we have them do it early on. If it's someone who's not new, everyone can improve some skill or strength or some fashion. So then they can use those once they've had exposure to a few classes within that first 4 weeks that they're with us. And we've had a lot of success with that because people are really excited to get into class. Like that's what they want to do. They want to do class. And so by doing that, they'll be like, yeah, cool. Can I cash in on that? I realize I suck at rope climbs. Let's work on rope climbs. So that's something that we transition to. And then we establish what membership they're rolling into from the start so that I don't have to resell them. So I'll know from the start, like this is automatically rolling into month to month, unless you tell me now that you want 6 month or 12 month. So.
I'd love to hear from anybody else too.
Kelly or Josh or Chinda, what do you guys do?
We do have onboarding. We feel like some people absolutely need it. And when we didn't have it for a while, some of our coaches, it just makes it more difficult to coach. So we, again, like what Ren was saying, we don't want a barrier to entry. So we priced it at $160. So it's $40 a class for 1 hour one-on-one during non-class times. And we sell up by just letting them know it sets them up for success. And it really does. There are times where people look at it and they're like, oh gosh, how long will it take me, to finish? And if I say 2 weeks, let's say 2 this week, 2 next week, that's really long. Most of the time they want to finish sooner. Then they're seeing that second stage of the sale, which is the membership price. And that's just kind of something I'm working through right now, but I think it's really important to have onboarding. And then we also have 3 tiers for membership. They're all unlimited. One is not a contract, the other 2 are, and I'm doing away with that because even though I did this like Daniel Chafee thing with Sia and I've done a lot of sales practice, it's I just absolutely hate it more than anything in the world. It's just not my jam. And so I partially need to make this easier on me because I don't like to say, well, these are your 3 options and these are why. For me, it makes it complicated. So I'm working right now on just going for one rate. So
I love that.
still a work in progress, just trying to figure out what works.
Well, Craig Howard does that. He's got one membership rate. He's got 550 members, and every single one of them are on month to month, 250, take it or leave it. We don't hold memberships. He's very cut and dry, and he's very successful with it. So until I added the medical society, I also did that. And it's no time spent on memberships. Like, what membership are you on? Or like switch, literally just one. It's so, I love that for you.
Thank you, Zia.
I think the elements or like how you start people into your gym is the thing that I personally have changed the most about my business since I've started. And I feel like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to change it. I feel like whether it's requiring 4 classes, requiring 3, requiring 6, or making it optional, like as I've grown over the years, I think it's the thing that kind of requires a little bit more change as you make certain like milestones. Like with Oceanside just opening, everybody's new. We don't, it's, we're talking about what a kettlebell swing is frequently. So like, do they necessarily need the elements classes to go in the class? Not so much, but Encinitas with 30, 40 people in a class, having 2 people that don't know their left from right arm is dangerous. And it's not fair to the paying members. So I don't allow it there. So I think every community truly is very unique in that way. And I love hearing about all the different ways we do it. And there's never a right or wrong way to get people into your community. It really is for the best of your gym. And that'll change over years. It's changed for me over years. And I'm sure Oceanside's going to go towards, not needing a more strict elements and onboarding as it grows as well, but I love hearing all the different ways that people do it.
I agree. If anyone who hasn't got a chance to, again, kind of talking about what you sell and that, see, it's almost already leading into onboarding there. It kind of overlaps. Like, what's the package that gets them to say yes? And then how does that get them into class? Chinda, do you want to take over?
Sure. Well, I always feel like I don't do anything extra, so I'm just kind of listening in. We do the paid in fulls as well, but mostly two memberships. We do 3 times a week and unlimited. We offer nutrition. We do the big nutrition sale, and then you can move on after that to the memberships, or you can add nutrition onto that. But we don't do an onboarding. We've done that before. We've done 2 weeks of elements. We've done 3 personal training sessions that they've had to purchase an extra. But what we found really helped was just getting people integrated into class, what community was, and a lot of me talking to them about what it looks like and where to modify, talking to the coaches, and I always tell them I want you to leave here feeling like you were at 50, 60%. I'd rather you come back, say that was too easy than too hard. I used to hire someone to do this, but since I've been taking on the role, but we had a member relations coach, and she would message them and follow them on their first 14 classes, and then once they pass that, then she would get like a commission, but she would check in on them every time they did the class. So she would monitor how many times a week they've come, and then on top of
That's a good
like
idea.
if somebody hasn't um shown up to class, like she's on it. And now that's my role. She had a baby and I just felt like the payment for it is like I had more time that I felt that I just carried on that role. And then let's see. Yeah, and then if we have a coach, or I notice, that she used to do this too, that they were going to be in the class, I'd find a member or, kind of somebody to just go and chat with them and be friends and like an ambassador, but not technically hired as an ambassador or anything, and just kind of like fill that community. Obviously, we're not super big, so it's easier for us to manage that. I can imagine if it was a lot bigger, we'd have a lot of that'd be a lot of work, but it's been okay. Now I spend a lot of my time just, checking attendance every week and seeing mostly the new people, and then those who don't show up, I'm messaging them, or I'm having somebody else message because sometimes people don't want to hear from me anymore.
Very good. Thank you. Josh or Mitch, do you guys want to chime in? Mitch was talking about the ambassador program, life changing. I know some others do that too.
Yeah,
Any
it's
trust?
definitely. I will say for us, I mean, again, we've done every, the 1 month of fundamentals to 6 personal trainings to 5 to 3 to all the things, and we've gone through just kind of some changes and whatnot in the gym the last couple of years, and spending the time with my ambassadors and make sure that they understand what their job is and picking the right ones has been so beneficial. I mean, again, like everybody's still required to come through a consultation with me. I do 90% of them. But having that confidence of knowing that my coaches are 10 times better than they were 10 years ago, coaching the classes, but on top of that, just creating that ambassador and like having that conversation with the 6 ambassadors that we have is way easier, and making sure that they're dialed in and they know their job. Like, and I mean, they're fairly competitive too. It's like I have one gal that she's like, I haven't failed once every single time. I'm like, okay, well, we'll just keep that fucking thing rolling forward, right? So, spending the time with the ambassadors and they again finding that person that does care just as much as you do. Again, no one's ever really going to care as much, but even if it's 80, 90%, it's still better than the other side of it. So it's been really beneficial for us. I feel really confident whenever we have someone come in and they take that first class, like they're going to get the job done. So
That's all.
Mine's ever evolving. I tried to implement a community council. It's 6 months in now, and I'm not I'm not too sure about it actually. I'm actually thinking of just kind of dialing it back. But within that process would be kind of like a big little sister type of thing, where if a new person comes in, there's usually a member of the community council within that class, because each representative of each class represents that class time. So they would kind of onboard them if taking them through that next step of fundamentals. But doesn't seem to be working, only because none of the community knows who the community council is. So that's kind of like the obstacle, nor are they really promoting community events. So that's kind of the shift in what I'm trying to do in trying to bind a 3-year community of 2 different gyms.
Wow. Do you mind spending a little, Randy and Chelsea were asking, do you mind spending just a second talking about the council that you sent me, the whole like PDF presentation thing was very cool. Just maybe a little summary of what you mean when you say that. So they kind of,
Sure. Yeah, so we had asked in January if each of the classes could nominate 1 or 2 people that would represent their class time. And then within that, we would just pool all the class time representatives together. They would vote on who that representative would be, and then they would speak on behalf of that class. In regards to everything from what's going on with their coach, what's going on with the vibe of their class, and just the overall member experience.
and you were meeting with them monthly, or was it more of just kind of remote stuff?
It was monthly, yeah, and then especially during the open, it was almost every week, just to try and finalize intramural stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of helped, kind of didn't. I don't know if it created more issues than not had I implemented it, but it was definitely worth a try.
Yeah, for sure.
Randy, if you want to talk offline too, then you can do that.
Anything else you guys want to add or questions for each other about kind of the broader topic of getting?
I was just going to add that for Josh's, so like that county or the gym council or whatever. One thing, so we used to pick like our ambassadors, right? Like the coaches picked like who we thought was going to be beneficial, like who was going to be the best people or whatever. But recently what we did is I sent out just a form for any member that like wanted to be that person instead of us picking them, because I feel like partially some of that was like we thought they were great, but like did they really want to be that person? And then they felt pressured into that job. And I haven't got a bunch of feedback from it yet because it's still fairly new. But I will say I was a little surprised that 2 people that like sent their stuff, like sent it in to apply to become one of our new ambassadors. So I think that could be really beneficial of like, instead of just assuming, there might be someone out there that really does care that you don't realize that does care as much. And like, they're willing to step up and do that thing too. One of the gals, I'm like ecstatic about the fact that she's super awesome, super, like, she's just not really like interactive in classes, but like the things that she said inside of that ambassador form was like, oh fuck, dude, this chick like loves us.
That's great.
Is she in tune with all the classes, like the community?
So she is, but she isn't. So she mostly comes in the morning, but she even said, she's like, if I ever need, if I was picked, like I can change my schedule and find someone to babysit and watch my kids to come at a different time. So like yeah, and she's every day at 9:30, but she's like, I can come at a different time if I need to. I'm like, dude, this is fucking great.
And is this like when you sent out the form, did that also have almost like a cover letter explanation of what this role is, or is it already super understood? Everyone knows what that is?
A little bit of both. So, I mean, a lot of people know, I mean, because we have it, we talk about it, but also like it broke down like the benefits of what you get if you do become an ambassador. Like we give them 15% off of, like apparel when it comes out. They get first notice of like that stuff. And, they get notified when we're doing something like a price increase or, whatever it is, before everybody else. So, and I take them out to dinner beforehand, and then we do like dinner afterwards and stuff. So, it's fun. I mean, it's fun for me too, because again, they're really passionate, like they're paying.
I think it's really cool to do the ask who might be interested, because remembering that like the people that stand out that you might want to choose might be, like you said, the people that are a little more vocal in class, that are a little bit more comfortable and extroverted in a group setting. However, that is not actually the keys to an ambassador. It doesn't necessarily a deterrent. It could very much help them, but what if you have someone who's really good one-on-one? They could be an excellent ambassador. They just might never speak up in class, but they will be so good being a little shadow, a little, let me tell you all the tips and tricks. And now I'm making a little friend over on the side, and it's like a perfect thing for them. But yeah, you wouldn't have necessarily picked them out because they're a little more introverted in the group setting. Sometimes it can work. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea of asking people to select themselves or volunteer. Very cool.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you offer other incentives. So mostly just like what you mentioned, Mitch. No extra like discount on membership or anything like that, or
No discount on memberships. I really try hard not to discount any of my memberships for any reason at all. But like again, they get 15% off, and they get added to a special Slack channel where they can communicate, and we'd let them know about different things coming up and whatever. Just really make them feel special at the end of the day. I mean, like 15% off is barely taxes here. So
what I thought would be kind of cool is if they could see the workouts in advance, but our system StreamFit won't allow us to do that. But I was just trying to think of some incentives that would be fun.
I think it's fun to create just like like you said, value. So we do the ambassador program as well, and we give 20% off to our ambassadors. But one of the things that we do to make it unique, so I have a pool. So we host a annual party for ambassadors and their families, and we feed them. So food, drinks, and pool party for them and their families once a year. And anyone who's in, we do every 6 months. We have ambassadors. So then we'll invite those two groups, and we have them over at our house. So the way that we try to make it unique.
And you do
I'd like to
20% off.
apply to be your ambassador.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She wants to be your ambassador. She wants in.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to say the 20% off isn't membership. It's just like the store or the.
It's just our all retail. Yeah. And then one thing I'll tell you though, too, like I have a different experience than maybe Mitch is having right now. Our community, that is the culture, what our ambassadors do. So I'm actually at a point where I'm like, I don't know if I need ambassadors because my membership does it naturally. So we still have it, but I don't feel like it's needed.
Lucky for you, Randy, you get to celebrate with the ambassadors all together in one. Thank you guys all for sharing all this great info. I think it was awesome. I already know 3 different owners that had been asking about some version of something we talked about, that I'm going to be sending them the link to this when we post it on the YouTube channel. So thank you so much. And if you guys ever have things you would like us to tackle, let me know what they are, and we'll make sure to get a call going on it. If you ever would want to be the person that another owner could call and chat about, I know Zia always has volunteered that. Brandy and Chauncey have offered that kind of a thing. If you have time in your life that you wouldn't mind chatting with someone and telling them the good, the bad, and the ugly, the things you've done. I always love to have kind of like a bench of owners who just want to help new owners or owners that have been around a long time and are just, they're having a hard time finding their footing or in a tough place. It's always nice to be able to. Thank you, Colby. I'm going to add you to that list. I really appreciate it. And I think it's nice because a lot of times there's people, they're like, I want to talk to someone that's not exactly in my area. And so it's great to have a variety of people all around the West Coast. So appreciate you guys all, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Some of you that just keep doing one call after the other. Hopefully you're nearing the end, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.